Ba 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 ba. Choo choo choo. 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Come on. Oh, I thought I saw it starting. Okay. Yeah, we'll just call it started. Oh, yeah. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, Thursday, December 12th, AD 2024. And we're going to have a fun show, hopefully. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. You can super chat by going to buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, or just go to thehakereport.com. And there is a little coffee icon in the corner. Let me show it to you. Since I don't think it would be bad to show it to you, right? Hopefully. Although this thing is in the way. Let me move it like this. Okay. Complicated business. I know this is awkward, okay? Just pretend I'm Joe Biden. Thehakereport.com. And I have to move this thing. Come on. Right there. You click on this thingamajigger. And then it'll come up with the thing. And it's pretty cool. This little coffee icon. And you say, I'm C. Sal. And I want to say, play more, quote unquote, Mexican songs. Boom, support. And then figure out how to pay. I don't know. You have to do that part yourselves, boomers. Nice, huh? So, shout out to CSAL. I don't know if she really wants me to do that, but isn't that a beautiful website? I don't know. I thought it was kind of nice. Shout out to the people who helped to make that happen. But we're going to be, what are we going to be covering today? Some stuff in the news, you know, it's beautiful. The trans kids, there's some controversy over the trans kids. I wonder which way it'll go. Because in the federal government, there's a fight because the Republicans want to, what's up, Lincoln Lewis? I don't know how you got yourself banned. I heard you got yourself banned. Sorry, wasn't me. I don't know what happened. So I'll wait and see like what happened. Just talking to somebody in the chat. My nemesis, Lady Lewis. I like Lincoln Lewis. I don't know how he got himself banned. Mount Wilson Trail, so nice. Oh yeah, the trans kids. Protect your children. Don't freak out. Just because the children get exposed to this evil stuff that you weren't exposed to, doesn't mean that they can't handle it. Don't be all scared. A little word of wisdom, I guess, if you want to call it wisdom, for the ladies and gents who might feel a hint of feeling like freaking out at all this evil, you know? At all this evil going on in the world. So, I don't know. We'll cover that, maybe. And, you know, other stuff going on. Chris Wray's resigning. About 6 years later than he should have. It's terrible. People have been telling Trump they've been telling him. I remember one of the guys who's like a reliable source of good information, Real Vincent James, been on the radio show, JLP show. He was telling Trump I don't know if he had Trump's ear, but he wanted Trump to fire Christopher Wray. But no, he didn't do it. And then, the FBI is a bunch of dumb liberals and liberal rhinos and stuff. So what a mess. What a mess going on in the world. Anyway, let's get things ready to get started over here. I want to get to calls today. A lot of super chats. Wow, is that loud or not? Oh, I turned on the wrong thing. I was like, what's that racket? There we go. I unmuted your board mic, I think. I was like, what's that? But anyway, guys, it's Christmas time, and also Jesus said, be of good cheer, didn't he? I've overcome the world. Something like that. I heard it in a Petra song, and I've read it in the Bible. It's a fact. So let's just get right on with the show!
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I do have a nice orange shirt. This is the one that's centered. It's Texas orange, and it's nice, I have to say. Doesn't that look great? Maybe. Texas orange is this color. It's sort of a slightly burnt orange. It's like a reddish orange with a touch of neutral, sort of brownish to it, but it's definitely an orange, and I like it. And it is Gildan. Heavy cotton, I believe, if I'm right. Well, we can check it out. We can see. Let me show this to you guys. You know, we were over on the hakereport.com. I think I might as well click store. And where will it take me? Hello. Okay, check out Hake's Printify shop. And it's here, hake.printify.me. I love boomers. Knowledge is poison. Hake with black text and Hake with white text. Let's see, where is the white text Hake? Oh, right here. And here's the Texas orange one. So you can see the difference. And I think on camera, this is looking like a brighter, on your screen maybe, that's looking like perhaps a brighter orange than it is in real life. But when I look at this color, and I look at that color that's on the screen here, the one that's pictured in the portrayal, that's a bit darker of an orange than this, perhaps a shade darker, but it is sort of a similar sort of a neutral tone, but just FYI, it's somewhere in between that one and this one that if you're looking on the screen, just so you know what to expect. The Hake Report white ink, and it's the Gildan 5000 heavy cotton tee. Heavy cotton, and I like the fit. It's not all like I don't know, like yesterday's shirt that I was wearing, it was the tri-blend and whatever. Roughly 6-inch logo, and it's actually centered this time. So I find it's a nice, comfortable fit, normal cotton material. It's not like luxurious feeling. It's just like a good, nice, normal shirt. But it's an okay fit. The sleeves aren't weird and like sticking out too much, for my taste anyway. But anyway, I'm just a millennial boomer, so I'm not hugely fashionable. But I kind of described all these colors because I wasn't sure that you would be able to see these things when I thought that I was going to have this on my website. And I got a size medium. I know. Apparently they're not selling this in 4XL or 5XL. So Southerners, you have to make do with, I don't know, different colors have different things. Anyway, right, nice. Let's get to a call or two. Jaime in Minnesota is on the line over here. And let me just make sure that your volume is not cranked. Jaime, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, Hank?
Going well. I can. It's a little rough. How you doing?
Pretty good. And yourself?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, that's good. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about...
Come to regular phone if you can. Come closer to your phone if you can, actually.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about
That's better. Thanks.
federal minimum wage.
Federal minimum wage. We should abolish it. Am I right or no?
Yeah, it's like $7.25, $7.50.
That's ridiculously high.
But I was doing some research on what people get for welfare,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and if you calculate it out to a 40-hour work week, it's about $10 to $11 an hour.
Wow.
So,
So
all the services and things, and cash assistance, SNAP, housing assistance, would
right.
equal out to about $10 to $11.
So you might as well stay on the welfare and not work than go to a minimum wage job or something above minimum wage but below $11. Wow.
Right. So, but that's the national average. Now you got commie capitalist states like California,
Yeah.
where it's closer to 15, about 1487.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And it's 20 if you're working at like a McDonald's nowadays, I think. Or it's going to be.
And if you're living in beautiful Utah, it's like $1.20.
Wow. Wow. Really? Wait. If you're living in beautiful Utah, it's $1.20?
Yeah. So the amount of assistance that they will give the state of Utah,
Okay.
if you calculate it out to a 40-hour work week, it would be like $1.20.
Nice. And that helps. That helps. It's not like that doesn't help. An extra $1.20 an hour for a 40-hour work week, that's $40, and $40 a week, free money. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Well, also, it made me think about the industrious people and the non-industrious people.
Yeah.
And also, the bums,
Yeah, the bums.
those filthy bums
Shout out.
that God loves. We
Yeah.
all love the bums.
And we love them too if we love anybody. But
But if we could get some sort of a facility where we could help them to get work skills
yeah.
with non-volunteer,
Well,
like
we'll call it voluntary, but it's mandatory volunteer work.
right, if they want to get government assistance, any kind of government assistance, then they have to, go to a work site and get financial education and use shovels and clean roads and things like this.
Yes. I love it.
And there may be some sort of disciplinary actions
Okay.
if they don't want to work. If you're accepted into this program, non-voluntarily, of course, and you don't do what you're told,
Yeah.
like a lashing here or there, to help
Yeah.
motivate, some sort of motivation.
Right.
I believe that if we can get this legislation passed in the federal courts or the federal legislation,
Yeah.
then the states can decide their legislation, and then each locality, each city will be able to implement it the way that they want, because the cities are going to know who the people are. The
True.
laziest people.
Yeah. So you sound like you agree with me that we should bring back slavery for not just for criminals who are in prison, because slavery is allowed, I think, for them. Although they're paid too, but it's sub minimum wage, right? But we should bring back slavery to help those to help the homeless people get back up on their feet.
Well, I wouldn't call it that. I don't think it'll pass.
Oh,
with
if you
that
called
kind
it
of label.
slavery.
Like enforced help,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. I would like to
Kind of
break
like
people's.
the liberals do with their legislation. Like the Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah.
You got to call it something like that. In
Right.
those kind of terms.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You should be more diplomatic.
To get it passed.
Yeah. Rico Anthony says, watch your mouth, sissy. I'm like, dang. But yeah, it could be more diplomatically worded than for me to call it slavery to solve the homeless bum issue.
And it's not just the homeless. It's
right.
Young people. I checked on this minimum wage, $7.25.
Yeah.
1.1 million hourly paid, not including the salaries and the contract workers, just hourly people. There's 74 million hourly people, okay, working in America.
Okay.
Only 1.1 million of them get the federal minimum wage.
Yeah.
So increasing it will help only 1.1 million.
And it won't even really help them. I mean,
two-thirds of those will help with quotes.
Yeah.
And 2/3 of those are women. A large percentage of them are whites.
Okay.
The next is like 45% are blacks, and then Hispanic, and then other.
Oh, wow. What a mess.
But the blacks are disproportionately, according to their, amount of population in America.
Right, minimum wage workers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of them aren't full-time, they're part-time.
Yeah.
So
no, I believe that.
And
they're probably supplemented with the welfare type stuff too on top of that.
Half of them.
Half of them? Half of those on?
Half of them.
Wow. Not good. If we got rid of that stuff and we would probably do well to deport a lot of the illegals, many of them, most of them. And we got rid of that payment not to work, then people would go back to work. I think.
You mean unemployment?
Yeah, if you got rid of unemployment and welfare and stuff like that.
Well, unemployment's insurance. That's an insurance policy.
But we should get rid of some of that because it's especially the government-run stuff.
Well, you can't get rid of an insurance policy. That's my right. You going to get rid of my health insurance too?
Do you pay unemployment insurance to the government though?
I believe so.
Yeah. So we should privatize unemployment insurance.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Yeah. Because right now they're taking it out of your paycheck by force. It's mama. You don't have a choice but to pay quote unquote unemployment insurance it's basically a tax, right? Am I right? Or am I right about that understanding? Roughly?
I don't think it's a tax. But I see your point.
They take it out of your paycheck though, regardless whether you want it taken out or not. Let's say I want to forego paying any unemployment insurance. Bond is never going to fire me. I'm not going to pay that. I want them to leave that in my paycheck. Oh, they're going to take it.
Oh, well, there are jobs where you can keep yourself,
right.
Social Security that you don't pay.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to get any money from your Social Security. Yeah, it was just interesting about the minimum wage. There's more to talk about. There's a lot less people on minimum wage than passing legislation would be worth.
Yeah.
It'd probably be better if we enforced camped, non-volunteer to help them.
Yeah, I'm just
more work ethic.
It's just that I'm not a fan of all this stealing people's money by way of so-called taxes, and giving away money that you don't even really have. The government don't even really have to people who don't deserve it at all and shouldn't have it, and it's enabling and worsening society through people who are bums. And when I say bums, I don't just mean street bums. I mean bums in terms of not working to take care of themselves. They're not independent. So we should stop that.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a good day, Hake.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm in Minnesota. Very nice. Lord, have mercy. I chuckle because this person, Bald Man 54, says, I didn't know until today that Hake is a fan of fascism. Where do you get fascism from that? forcing the bums into slavery. I think that's like a it should be a law that you're not allowed to add blight to the city by camping on the streets and having your stuff in the way or in sight of people stuff. You're destroying the perceived value, and perceived value is real value, by the way, of the real estate, real, here and now value of the real estate. Hake is just very simple-minded. Thank you. Come on, man. Simple-minded. I'm a simple man. Simple-minded, perhaps, but no, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to allow the homelessness to go out of control in California, in LA, all up and down the West Coast and all across America, and enable it. It's evil, in my opinion. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line here. Jeff, how you doing?
Very good, man. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I just have a couple questions I want to ask you. A real question.
Yeah.
When you institute slavery, what's your idea of how do you do it? Who's a slave, and how do you do it?
The slaves are the criminals. Whether they're homeless or just regular criminals, they used to have to work on the chain gang, and they used to have to work on license plates and stuff. And some of them still do. Some of them will work and get paid in a prison and jail. So that's, and how would it be done? There would be, right now there's these people who manage the Caltrans and all that stuff. People who get DUIs and people who get domestic violence things where they don't go to prison, but they're sentenced to do like community labor or community service. It would be in that sort of area so that they have to do something and make some use out of themselves rather than being useless and a drain on society. They're a help to society.
Okay, so let me ask you this now. So you're not. I just want to clarify for people listening. The way it sounds like you just want to go back to 1800. So basically, what you're saying is not like slavery.
No,
it's like a worker release program.
Yeah, it's not. It's not supposed. I don't intend for it to be permanent. I intend for it to be like you're sentenced to.
It's not somebody sent home at night and get whipped and
no, I don't care about the whipping. I don't think. Although it did sound like my prior caller talked about lashings. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just thinking that you have to work and you're not going to get paid because you violated people.
So say it's something like say you have a not a hospital, but say like a prison.
Yeah.
You have a prison that you feed them, you clothe them, they got room and shelter, they got food, but during the day they go out to do work.
Right. Yeah, for that, or if they already have a home. Let's say you're a relatively decent person and you are to be trusted and you do already have a place to stay. You can stay in that place, but you got to come to work.
Yeah, just like, well, I mean, I know this now. There's a better way to do it. It sounds stupid, like a tracking device in them.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the ankle monitor thing. It just seems like they're going way too loosey goosey. But yeah, kind of like that. Say again?
Yeah, I said they can cut the ankle monitor off. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't like the ankle monitor thing.
I just want people to get a better idea where you're talking about. When you say go back to slavery, it's like you're like, let's go back to whatever, and that's what people. I mean, hell, that's why I jumped to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why I just want to get an idea where you come from. So it's just and what you're saying is not too far off if you think about it. There's been movies about futuristic movies about stuff like that. Well, it's not necessarily that, but like you think about movies that people are just is about. Well, what's the movie? I can't think of it. There's a movie set in the future where everybody has to be somewhere at a certain time, and they monitor, everything everybody does. I'm trying to think of, it's a damn good memory. Okay, my second thing is on a minimum wage, there's really no reason to get rid of minimum wage, because if you look right now in my area, I'm in one of the low-paying areas of the country. Walmart is paying overnight stockers $15 to $21 an hour.
Yeah.
So the minimum wage doesn't affect nothing. I mean,
It's moot in your case where you guys are.
That's across the nation. I mean, it's just
Right.
It's different things, but the minimum wage has no real effect on wages, because nobody's going to take a job making less than one they can afford to live on.
Right. That's what my point is. If we got rid of these minimum wages, a lot of wages may go down. A lot of costs of living and a costs of doing business may go down, but it's not going to go down to zero, because there's a bunch of companies that want you to work for them, and so they're going to set a competitive wage that's based on competition with other companies that are paying. And some people have said, oh, but what if a companies collude to pay a very little amount? Well, that's not going to work out very well, because there's always going to be other companies that crop up and then they steal the workers from them if it's a free country.
I can give you an example of kind of like ways, not minimum wage, but kind of like talking about, because I know you're against unions. And I told you I worked the same job in a union and not in a union. Not in a union, the job started off, while I live in the South, no poor South.
Yeah.
The job started off at, what was it, $11.25 an hour, I think.
Yeah.
And if you went through your first few months, your two promotions, you got bumped up. Well, 6 years being there, you topped out at, not topped out, but my position actually topped out, because I was the highest in my position at $17.05 an hour.
Okay.
Now, when I left there and went to a company that does the same exact thing, but it's unionized,
right,
I started off at $23.52 an hour.
Right.
And the thing about that is with a union, it's not based on merit or how good you do your job.
Yeah.
It's, you got a contract, you got a 4-year contract. Every time a raise comes around, you get that raise.
Yeah.
So in a contract, you're making set amount of dollars regardless of how you do your job. If you're the worst worker or the best worker,
right,
it doesn't matter. You're the same way.
Yeah, that's partly that's one of my counts against the unions, is they don't pay on the quality. I mean, supposedly they protect the people, but they're protecting bad workers too.
That's another problem you have with them, is it's almost impossible to get fired if you're in the union.
Yeah.
Because every time you get wrote up or called in or anything else, the union goes to fight it. And, they can carry it up as high as, they do that to protect the bad workers, but they won't do it when you actually need help or something.
Yeah.
If you actually have issues to help with, you're looking at holes in anybody. I mean, it's just, and that's one problem with them, but, it's just a lot of stuff goes into it, like, the unions and the pay and stuff. Man, there's nobody that pays the minimum wage no more. I mean,
that's true. Federal minimum wage, especially like $7 an hour, that's only going to affect the poorest areas where cost of living is pretty low, and the businesses can barely afford to pay. That's going to hurt those areas. It's not going to affect anybody, because I don't know anybody. I haven't heard of anybody making $7 anything an hour, because I live in California where it's twice that, and but I think that states and the federal government should get out of making companies pay.
Yeah, everybody's pocketbook.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And the last thing I comment on is I don't know what is calculating on the The benefits is part of trying to get an hourly. Or saying I can make 10 something an hour. And if you're getting Section 8 housing, a new house, food stamps, discounts on your internet, your lights, all your utilities, and all that free, you're making way more than $10 an hour.
Right. Good point.
And that's the problem with these governments. Like they build these Section 8 neighborhoods. Every time you turn around, there's a new one popping up.
Yeah.
And they're like 300 houses.
And they get trashed by some of those people.
Oh yeah, man! I've done installs in them. I mean, you go. We got brand new ones built around here. You go in and you do it. When they first moved in that first subdivision, and when they made the fiber, went in and installed the fiber. You go in the house for nice. And that 6 months later, you go in there, somebody else moved in. There'd be holes in the wall and just all kinds of crap. They don't care. It's not theirs.
Right.
They don't care. They don't have to pay for it.
Good point. That's so
when
true.
They pay for it, find something.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I was get their calls. I ain't gonna hold you up all day.
Good to hear from you, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Jeff in Louisiana. Jeff reminds me of a great book, a great little. Why did it go to pink? But anyway, you can get your pink hake shirts. Ladies, hopefully. Only ladies would do it. But rebuildingtheman.com /stores. Is that the stores page that I'm getting to? The 7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success guide. By the way, 15% off everything. Bond holiday sale. Xmas. 2 S's. 24 at Teespring. If you're going to go through Teespring, which I don't really recommend, but if, say, you can only get it on Teespring, it's some off the beaten path thing, then yeah, suppose that's what you ought to do. But the 7 guaranteed steps, just a thin little piece of book to spiritual, family, and financial success. JLP wrote this book, and it talks about owning. You value it more when you own it, generally speaking. Some people just trash their own stuff. People got issues. But if you want an autographed copy, you can order it through Bond. Rebuildingtheman.shop. So it's pretty cool. Prayer, investing, mint, work, family. Nice. Very cool. Check it out. And Derek says, Hakeism, not fascism. That's right. I do have super chats to read. In fact, let me read a couple of them because I was remiss because I missed a couple of your super chats, guys. No more thoughts about a coffee. Hake, you said you wear NRA merch sometimes. Is it to show support of the Second Amendment or do you go shooting too? I'm like, oh, shoot. I missed this super. This is yesterday. I'll read it tomorrow, meaning today. I used to go to the range, but now I'm not that active with it necessarily. I go to the beach now. From the range to the beach. Wow. Hake's ways. Whatever. I mean, it's like riding a bike, right? You don't really forget. I was pretty good. I mean, the people were impressed. The shooting range trainer people were like, hey, not too bad. Hey. And I made those sound effects too. Buy a shotgun. Buy a shotgun. Oh, I better not show this one. This is a one that I ought to censor just to be safe from Little Rock. Man. Super chats, right? And so let me bring it up here. I missed this one from Little Rock. Man. Nothing wrong with people earning degrees to better themselves. You have degrees? Yeah, that's right. I have AA, AS, and BA. And maybe some other stuff. I don't know. Associates in arts, associates in science, and a bachelor in arts. That's one reason why I call you a liar and a hypocrite. When have I ever used my degrees? When has it ever been necessary? It hasn't. I've learned stuff there. I remember stuff. I have friends from there, or thought I had friends. Thanks a lot, guys. I thought you were my friends. Oh, honey. This guy thinks he's my mom? You saying we don't have a feud, but still being afraid to let me call in, and even saying my name because something is Little Rock, it man. Not Rockettes. Rock, it, man. And tax-deductible things? Rebuildingtheman.com/donate. And why not? It's Christmas season. What's one nice, true thing that you can say about me? You give me money. Terrible. Make my day. I'm sure you didn't read my full super chat. I get made fun of for sending you super chats, but darn if it don't make me smile when you read them. And don't ever compare me to Zenny. You something reject. I'm not going to read that because you trick me a lot of times. What's wrong with comparing you to Zenny? Zenny's a nice guy, a Christian, part black, Canadian, which is abbreviated CA. Oh, you're not Californian. You're black, I think, and Christian, so you say, and you really think you are, and other stuff. So what? Don't hate. Don't hate Zenny. Don't hate Zenny, Mr. Little Rocket Man. Appreciate Zenny. Zenny is a guy who, I don't know, has he called Hake? He's called Joel Friday TV. He's probably called me. Oh, I'll be nice. If there was a woman you were interested in, but she once had an abortion, would you still date her? Probably. Don't ask me that. Terrible. Making me blush. What if someone you were into romantically had a sty? Oh, STI. A sty. I'm like, a sty in her eye? Oh, STI. You mean STD. S word, transmitted disease or infection. Would you still marry them? Her. It's not a them. I don't marry thems. I've never married anybody at this point. What's the closest thing to a pregnancy scare you've ever had? Oh, man, this person. These are like nonsense questions, but I feel like the urge to take them seriously. No, I sat next to a girl once. Finally, do you mind that I don't send you any more super chats as long as you promise to stop mentioning me on your show or chats? Whatever you want to do, okay? Keep it clean. Be Christian, okay? Be Christian. That's my only request, is that you be Christian. And I only request that because I think that you seem to want to be Christian, and you seem to be Christian in your mind. So be Christian. You know, I complain about a lot of people who are not Christian. And I'm like, not Christian? It's because of like this old school, when I was reading books way back in the day as a kid, and when I was watching movies and TV shows about things back in the days, there would be these ladies who would be like, don't do that. It isn't Christian. It isn't Christian. So gossiping, for example, it isn't Christian. Slandering, speculating about people. Well, that's all gossip, right? Hating. It isn't Christian to hate. Being overly much of a snake in the snake pit. It isn't Christian. Having like overly filthy language. You know how they talk about filthy talk, especially in the wrong context? Just doesn't seem Christian. So that's what I mean by just be Christian. Whatever. I don't make any promises that I won't mention you, but I will try to be. That's a fair request. It is definitely a fair request. Let me get to a call here, but guys, I'll get back to the super chats, Lin Yen Chin. But Alex in California is on the line over here. Alex, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Jakey Bear.
Hey.
I've been gone through the weekend. I'm just getting back, so I'm catching up on everything.
Cool. Right on.
I was out in the Wild West.
I respect it.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'm a city slicker.
Nice. Yeah, same.
Like right when I got back into bumper to bumper San Jose traffic, I just felt like home.
Yeah. That's terrible.
So yeah, I heard Daniel Penny was released or not charged or
yeah.
innocent.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
then,
really nice news.
That's what should have happened for sure.
Yep.
And I saw the BLM, one of those guys was going off, basically saying they wanted vigilantes on their side, and that just because we're loud doesn't mean you can choke us out. Like, maybe we should do that to you guys. Like, wow.
You know,
they're taking it.
And that's that guy whom you saw saying that is this guy named Hawk Newsome. And he went viral years back because he was a Black Lives Matter New York type of a guy. And he showed up to like a MAGA rally or something like that. And they invited him on stage June 2020. Oh, hold on. They invited him on stage. I don't necessarily have the incident in front of me. But he played like he was this reasonable person who wants to love everybody and not hate and not fight with people. But he's an angry, evil person. And he got fat too, by the way. He used to look like this. Looks pretty fit. Looks pretty built. And now he's like all big. He's like
got
huge.
that dad bod.
Yeah, maybe like a Southern dad bod. You know how the Southerners get remarkably fat?
Yeah, the face fat.
Yeah. He like unrecognizable almost. Hawk Newsome. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious they were going to act like that. I think he did take it a little farther than I was expecting, but
yeah,
it just got me thinking about like who gets to choose what represents the quote unquote black community. Because you have, like Joe is like deathly afraid that someone's going to look at him as an N-word or whatever, when we all know he's not. He thinks that we think everybody is. And this guy, wants to lump all of them with BLM. So it's like, which one are we listening to? Who gets to decide that?
I know. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean, I think as most of us reasonable people, we know that not all of them are ends. There's just, that's what we're seeing in the news the most. And I don't know. We're not lumping all of them like that, like Joe thinks.
Exactly. We treat people how they come at us, which is how blacks and every other person generally does, unless they got some chip on their shoulder or thing in their imagination. Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys have covered it all, but are you aware of the drone invasion going on right now?
In New Jersey?
That's getting worldwide now.
Oh.
I've seen a video in Brazil that was pretty crazy.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I heard about something going on in New Jersey that was curious, but no, I'm not familiar with what's going on with it.
Yeah, I guess. It's. I don't think it's like aliens or something stupid like that, but it's some weird military probably tests going on. Something. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely our technology. So it's not like a alien invasion or whatever. But talking like hundreds of drones. They're about the size of minivans, they're saying, small SUVs.
Wow, that's huge. That's some heavy drone.
That's very big.
Yeah.
And the people who are analyzing this stuff are sending up their drones to go check them out, and they're getting their frequency jammed, so their drone just falls out of the sky.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then the other detail, they said one battery for something like that would cost at least $10,000.
I would think so.
There's hundreds of them up there right now for months now.
Because that's what a a car battery is for some of these, I heard, for some of these electric cars like Teslas or something. I heard that they're like $10,000 for a battery for that. So I would think that it would be about that much for a drone battery. You know,
Definitely.
I heard that there is a push to learn and anticipate this drone stuff, because this drone warfare has really advanced, or it's been a major player, I heard, in Ukraine. Ukraine has been using drones. They've been kind of adjusting.
They've been doing it in really horrible ways. I've seen some of those videos. It's very awful.
Awful as in terrible, destructive to human beings, or what do you mean by awful?
I mean, we're talking armaments being dropped directly on people like explosives, but the way that the people that are flying the drones are doing it, they're teasing and terrifying the people first. It's really messed up. Like, they'll fly up to them and then fly away, and then fly up to them, fly away, and then come up and blow up. It's like, yeah, really evil. The people who are flying them are doing really evil. Like, some of these dudes are just going to the bathroom or sleeping.
Yeah.
And getting grenades dropped on them. So, I don't know.
I remember Obama. You make me think of how Obama joked that I'm getting pretty good at droning people. I think he is reputed to have said that.
Yeah, I think what we would be worrying about would be something very direct and small, directed at one person versus like a grenade. They're not going to be grenading people, but
yeah,
they can do some weird stuff these days. So
terrible.
You might want to check. I don't know. That's probably not that interesting, but it's getting more worldwide. So
yeah,
I didn't think much of it at first, and now it's getting bigger. So,
and it's so impersonal, you know, with a gun, and even more so with a knife. You're getting up close and personal to somebody. Not that that's better, but it kind of forces a person to face their enemy a little bit more.
It's more of a manly way to do it. The beta
right.
way is to fly a drone over someone who's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Blowing them up.
Yeah,
very beta.
Exactly. Wow, that's scary stuff. I mean, it's human nature. This technology is enabling the evil of human nature to go crazy.
Yep.
Huh.
All right, hey.
Thanks,
we'll
man.
Continue with your show there.
All right. Take care. So let's read a little bit of the news before I get back to Lin Yin Chin's supers. Oh, I missed some of your supers, Lin Yin Chin. But I was telling you about these children. And I didn't read it in Hake. I don't think I got to it in Hake News. Look, they're getting rid of Chris Ray, replacing him with this. Isn't it a shame that we're cheering on the ousting of this purportedly white man and the inning of this Indian man? But that just shows that we know that it's a spiritual battle. It's not just white versus POC. It's right. It's supposedly right, hopefully more right, versus wrong. Evil, lame-o, anti-white Chris Ray, and Kash Patel is hopefully not that anti-white and anti-right. Is Kash Patel a Christian? That's not my concern at this moment. Let's read this mess. Blanketly, I chuckled when I saw this because I'm going to stand up for a second. Because I thought it said blankety. Anyway, that's not that funny. Blanketly denying health care to people who need it, this person says, just because of a biased notion against transgender people is wrong. I like your use of the M dash. Democrat Representative Adam Smith. Nice name. I like your name, Adam Smith. Nice, normal, white American name, or even perhaps a black name, but probably white. But shout out, regardless. The top Democrat, he's a top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, issuing a statement yesterday, after the House passed a defense policy bill. The House passed it, okay? Now it has to go to the Senate. That bans this euphemism that we've pointed out many times, we being Hake, gender-affirming care for transgender children. they call it. The legislation, if approved by the Senate, will prevent the military's health program, TRICARE. Oh, it is military related. It's in the defense spending bill, right? Military's health program, TRICARE, prevent it from covering hormone treatments for so-called transgender children. There's no such thing, really. This transgender thing is their diagnosis, the liberal doctor's diagnosis, and I would call it, I dare say it is a misdiagnosis. I know I'm just a simple-minded person, but I call it a misdiagnosis. It's not transgender. It's a confusion. And I don't even think that it's even really a doctor's diagnosis. The doctor's diagnosis is gender dysphoria. Oops. And forget those doctors, too. Anyway, transgender children of service members. So they don't want to cover that, right? They don't want to cover that. Pay for that yourself if you're that degenerate. And don't do it in Texas because you may get your children taken away from you for child violating or something. House passes defense policy bill that bans, and of course, Commie Nonsense Network, CNN Politics covers it because they're all about pushing the gay LGBT so-called agenda. And who wrote this mess? A bunch of women. Annie Gray, purported women, you never know nowadays. Annie Grayer, Claire Fronin. Don't harass them, guys and gals. And Haley Talbot School of Theology. Is that a boy acting like he's a girl? No. Wait, I don't know. Don't bother with this kid. So, yeah, supposedly a transgender 10-year-old fears being murdered because why? Because why? Oh, I don't mean to click on it. I mean to actually, I don't like to show these people's faces because, in my opinion, it's on the vulgar side. Go away. Don't care about your stuff. I'll let that play. Washington, as in D.C., the House voted Wednesday to pass a critical defense policy bill, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I don't really care about this. 281 to 140, with 124 Democrats and 16 Republicans voting against the legislation. And why? I don't know. That looks still like an advertisement, right? Bounty. Psh. Okay.
Speaking out.
Oh, do you guys want to see this? No. That's an evil thought planted in the kid's head by some, probably a mother. Yeah, fears murder. So-called transgender 10-year-old fears being murdered because of, quote-unquote, her identity, which is not. It's not the real identity. It's not an identity, or it's an identity the same way that you think you're Christian. A lot of you so-called Christians. Like, for example, never mind, I'm not going to mention him. He asked me not to mention him, and I respect it. It's a good request, actually. You guys, I'm already practically showing it, but that's clearly... I think I know what to do. Okay, I'm going to play this, okay? And then I'll get to your calls. Oh, man. Oops.
I'm gonna...
What concerns have you had about speaking out?
That I'm gonna be, like, murdered. Like, one day, I'm gonna be walking down the street and somebody's gonna come up and, like, shoot.
Who taught this person? Cute little person, but I don't think that it's cute with the wrong clothes on and the long hair, in my opinion. My taste. Who taught that person that vocal fry? Red room. Red rum. You know, that's a horror movie. Don't watch horror movies, kids. I was corrupted by the... Oh, you're actually looking at me, my little... This is my censor black square. Hopefully I can remember, hopefully I can spare you guys this.
Shoot me or something.
Shoot me.
That's a really scary thing to be worrying about at 10 years old.
Yeah, that should not be a worry.
Michelle, what's going through your mind as you hear your daughter say this?
It's just hard to hear her say that. And she asked me three questions after.
Don't harass the mother, guys. We love everybody, obviously. Oh yeah, I think I'm fair in saying that because you guys are nasty to each other, by the way. Not that you guys would actually seek somebody out, but some people do. Look at this evil mother. But shout out.
She heard who won the election. Are we gonna have to move? Are they gonna take me away from you? And am I not gonna be able to get my medicine? It's frightening.
We've seen Republicans put a lot of money and energy into transgender issues. More than $200 million were spent this election cycle in anti-trans ads. What does that feel like to have so much attention by all these politicians on your identity?
It makes me feel like they think we're puppets
They are.
that they can
You are.
play with, and it's just so wrong.
It made you feel disrespected?
Made me feel like literally dead inside. It's probably honestly the worst thing I've ever felt. I've heard transphobic politicians that say, no, you have the wrong gender, you're confused, honey. No, myself is a fact, not an opinion. And they don't get to decide that for me. I get to decide that for myself.
The Supreme Court is taking on a Tennessee law that is banning gender-affirming care for minors. So this is things like...
That's such an evil, stupid, fake euphemism. Gender-affirming care. I've already made that point. It's a gender misidentity messing up. And it's not, it's the type of care, kind of like the type of help that enables these homeless bums to go crazy. Turn this off, Hake, says, come on, man. Demonic. But, yeah, I mean, it's not good. Thanks for hiding the faces. This is the lowest the Hake report has ever sunk, says, come on, man. Well, hey, thanks, man. I'm actually pleased if you think that that's that, because you've been with me a while, and I've done some... Anyway, shout out to the Hake music.
Hormones, puberty blockers. Roughly 24 states have passed restrictions on gender-affirming care. It's clearly a big political
She even has the vocal fry
issue, but I want to understand what gender-affirming care means for you. Why is this something that's important for your family?
I don't know what kind of care my kids are going to need in the future.
What?
But I also believe in body autonomy and parental rights. And so my kids deserve access to the same.
Wait a minute. Buzzwords, body autonomy and parental rights. Who can disagree with that? I feel like Anchor Baby here. But then she's used the word access, which is a communist buzzword.
Life-saving care that other cisgender kids are receiving without politicians interfering.
Do you want...
Wait. That was a short-haired gal saying that, who's a purported mother. Mildly attractive. Life-saving care that, what they call them, cisgender, for those who don't know, that's their fake word. I feel silly even saying the word. For normal. Because they want to make the normal feel abnormal. Because we are abnormal, by the way. Everybody's abnormal. But they're trying to use a satanic devil word. Shout out. For normal person, what do you mean life-saving? I didn't follow what her point was, but they are women talking.
I also believe in body autonomy and parental rights, and so my kids deserve access to the same life-saving care that other cisgender kids are receiving without politicians interfering.
What are the normal kids, quote unquote normal kids, getting that the so-called transgender kids not getting? Who would do that? Some people might, but I don't think that's what the politicians are doing.
You want the choice.
Yes.
Choice?
I think if politicians really were in it for...
Wow, that's a FTM. Oh, it could be a mildly attractive
the kids'
gal.
sake, then they would take the time.
I'm supposed to cover the face. That's mildly attractive. Stop lusting, Hake. I'm just saying that, I'm just being gracious. It's not lust, I don't think. Whatever. You're taking it to extremes. Well, anyway, that's CNN pushing their propaganda. I forget why I even clicked on that. Oh, I wanted to know who Adam Smith was. Let's see who this person is. Oh, what? What was there? Adam Smith, that guy? I think we're talking about this Kansas? No. What in the world? Where's this guy from? Democrat Representative Adam Smith. This is important to me, otherwise I wouldn't do it. Oh, Lord. Look at these people. He's a top Democrat on the Armed Forces Committee pushing this mess. A male Democrat. "59 years old. Washington State, I guess, if I have the right Adam Smith. Since 1997. Whatever. You guys want to finish hearing these kids? Nah. Let's be done with that. Let's get to Joe in New Jersey, who's on the line over here. Joe, how you doing, man? Thanks for holding and calling. Are you there? Joe, come off of mute. I cannot hear you. Joe, you're on mute, I think. Joe, going once. Yeah, I'll put him on hold. Thanks. Derek will check on you, Joe. Joe in New Jersey. Terrible. If you listen to the children, you will suffer. Crazy. It's pretty oppressive too, isn't it? How they, it's pretty oppressive how they are doing that. Joe is not there. All right. Thank you, man. Thanks for checking that. They can't do it. Where are the fathers? You notice no fathers there. Let's get back to this. Because it's worth it. Look at that.
And listen to what they have to say. I think that they would focus on real things like climate change instead of using our identities as a pawn just to get votes or just to stay in an office.
I know.
Me and my family have spent a lot of our time going back.
Oops.
Back and forth to our state capital in Arizona. The amount of times I've been disrespected, misgendered, dismissed just because of how young I am by these people who want to protect me.
So all of you have traveled a very long way from Arizona on your own dime, taking time off work, taking time off school to be.
They're kids. They didn't go on their own dime. But I do notice these gals, all
here
mothers,
for this Supreme Court case that's taking up transgender rights. Why did you feel it was important to be here in DC and have your voices heard?
Oftentimes,
Useful idiots.
our lives get turned into numbers and trauma stories with no name and no face.
Yeah.
Our existence is so beyond that. I play the guitar. I am in my school's March for Our Lives club and our Spanish club, right? Like, I live this very full and vibrant life. When politicians focus on turning us into numbers, a lot of the times they've never met trans people.
They can't do anything to you, man. I mean, gal, person, young lady, they can't do anything to you. You're doing all this evil to yourself and your evil mother who's sitting, you see her above this gal? This is a gal, right? Young lady. The evil, his Latina mother doing that to you. Where's the father?
People that don't take the time to introduce themselves to trans people.
The first time Daniel ever lobbied, he was 9 years old. And he's gonna be 18 next August.
Take the time to introduce themselves to trans people.
The first time Daniel ever lobbied, he was 9 years old. And he's gonna be 18 next August.
Whatever, Lisette.
2 months after this.
Whatever, Lizette.
This ruling. And so he will have spent a majority of his life defending his existence.
Dumb.
And so I just want
She's crying.
Daniel and Violet and Dylan to live in a world that just lets them be. And in a world where they can be safe. I really worry
You're safe calling into Hake.
Rhetoric has gotten so bad.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's affecting your childhoods that you have to fight for your right to exist?
Yeah, because
that face is particularly disturbing. I don't know if it's because of his whiteness. He looks like one of those sort of chunky bullies. Shout out. This person looks like one of those chunky bullies. The fat, as in fat. You know, the fat kid bullies with the jowls. And then he's wearing this cute little, not cute, but little woman-esque jacket, sort of business-like, with the shoulder pads that don't make sense.
Because there's so many like racist, anti-trans people that I should be a kid at school right now worrying about my own.
So go do it.
Own stuff and like not having to do this.
Right.
Yet my childhood is honestly kind of ruined.
And that speaks to the suicide rate of trans youth. Like this is real. This is serious.
And we know that the statistics around the loss of life of Black and brown trans women is already high.
Donald Trump has promised.
I'm laughing with the Black and brown so-called trans so-called women. I'm laughing with them, not at them. I'm laughing at the dumb, evil talking point, obviously. Because they're violent. Did you know that Antifa is more transgender per capita? And they like stab people in the heart, allegedly. There was one Antifa who stabbed a Mexican in the heart. And he was just looked like a transgender, I think. And so they're violent with one another. I think that's why they face more violence. FYI. You know, the LGBTs. Very angry, violent, crazy, and they know it. Shout out.
To roll back.
And also these evil mothers make you suicidal.
A lot of protections for transgender people. He has backed.
Stop it, reporter woman with your vocal fry.
Of Black and brown trans women is already high.
Donald Trump has promised to roll back a lot of protections for transgender people.
What do you mean by protections? See, doesn't that look like a... this young person has the chin of a punch me, I'm a bully. Don't punch bullies, necessarily. Accepted in self-defense, and you don't just make up self-defense, obviously. But Trump loves the transgenders. Are you kidding me? He loves everybody. He even said that that person's name, Bruce Jenner, can go into his, Trump Tower, the ladies' bathroom, he said. He said, you can go in the ladies' bathroom, I don't care. Because Trump loves everybody. Give me a break. Now, there are Trump supporters who are nasty and hateful because... And you guys aren't innocent of being nasty and hateful, young kids, and especially the mothers.
He has backed a national ban on gender-affirming care in this campaign.
It might be because he's so white, too. Shout out to the white faces. Very white.
And now we're facing another 4 years with Trump back in the White House. I'm wondering how you are all coping with that reality.
Coping.
It's
just encouraging them to wallow in their drama. That's not right.
Don't want to think about what he's gonna do. Like,
don't think about
in Arizona, where we all live, and we're probably gonna live.
Arizona, where we all live. I like this person's voice. Cute.
Do you think it'll be harder to be a trans kid under President Trump?
Yes.
No.
A lot harder.
No. You're setting yourself up, Mr. Person. And this person is not convincing at all. Oh, yeah. What kind of is, actually? Never mind. I shouldn't have zoomed in. Sorry.
What do you hope will come as a result of you speaking out and making your voices heard?
I wish people could see that our children are who they are and believe them.
They're who they are, not who you think that they are, and not who they think they are, and they're not really being who they are.
Families alone. Like, I would give anything to be a really boring PTA mom.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't, because look what you're doing.
And instead, I'm reading policy, like ways in which I can convince...
You are boring.
...politicians to see my child as a full human being.
I'm hopeful that...
Your little daughter is a full human being. What are you talking about? Drama.
It can just...
Who is that? Who is that? Was that Joe in Phoenix, Arizona, acting like not a full human being? Shout out. No, Joe in Phoenix is not for this. Except he voted for Obama twice and thinks he was a great president. Obama was for this mess.
Being normal children in a normal world where people don't judge us.
She's nodding.
And where we can just be ourselves.
In this abnormal world, everybody's judging everybody, young person. Shouting at 10-year-olds.
Shine like a star.
Yeah. Like a, oh gosh. Like a plastic bag. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Did you know that Katy Perry used to be a Christian? She was Katy, K-A-T-Y, Hudson. Jake Huston has ruined my understanding of the name Hudson. So anyway, that's that. You're welcome. Look at that. Terrible. What is gender-affirming care? It's a euphemism for... I could have just scrolled down and found that guy. Yeah, I'm looking like that at you, too. Oh, check this out. Boo! Oh, okay, hold on. Boom! Nice. Hey. I'm looking at you. Anyway, let me go back. Let's see. Boom. No. Okay. Boom. Boom. Just showing off something that Bill made. Nice. But this is the guy who pretends like he cares so much about the people. About the, remember, so you saw all that, and there was this, quote, blanketly denying so-called health care to people who need it. What does that even mean? Just because of a biased notion against transgender people is wrong. I like the transgender people. I've met some of them. Shout out to Modern Day Debate, because I met them through that. I debated with them, and I, other stuff. Rode in the car. Locker room talk. I'm just kidding. That's a hat tip too. Joel Friday TV is coming up next, guys. Joel Friday will be here. He mentioned locker room talk, and Zenny went crazy. That was so funny. The Love of the Father is the name of Joel Friday TV's thing. Oh, man. But I like them. I don't have anything against the transgender people. I'm okay, yeah. Their presentation is a huge temptation to judge, but you can recoil, be like, oh, it stinks, oh, without judging, I think, I heard. And you can be like, ugh, and cover. Is that judgment? Maybe that's overreaction. That's not very manly, isn't it? But anyway, you can know that something's wrong without, or something's off about it and not judge, right? So anyway, biased notion against transgender people. But we're not blanketly denying health care. So you're a liar, Mr. Adam Smith. He's older than me, so I respect him. House Armed Services Committee member Adam Smith, and he's white, representative from Washington State, beautiful Washington, demon rat, listens during a House Rules Committee at the Capitol, June 11th. I shake my head. I would almost check on how he grew up, but it's only banning that so-called gender-affirming care, which is hormone blockers and I don't know what else, something else. It's not stopping them from, like, you caught a cold or you're so depressed that you're catching mono because you're not sleeping right because your mother's being evil about it and encouraging you to be all up in your feelings. And where's the father? I have no idea. No wonder you fell into that trans kids mess. Shout out to the trans kids and their evil mothers. We are all evil. Hake is so unsure of everything. Everything you do is manly, Hake. Conflicting. Whatever. Nice. Anyway, I feel like getting to a call and talking to a logical man, right? Denny in Bulgaria is on the line over here. Denny, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Good evening, Mr. Hake. Thank you for taking the call. How are you today, sir?
Doing fine. Evening to you.
Glad to hear. Mr. Hake, I'm watching your program. It's remarkable as always. I have a few things to say, but before I say, may I please ask you, did you happen to have the chance to watch the interview with Foreign Minister Lavrov?
I did. I listened to it. It was, now you said Prime Minister Lavrov?
No, Foreign
Minister Lavrov. Okay, that makes more sense. I have to tell you though, I wasn't able to pay full attention. I was driving. I listened to part of it twice, but I didn't comprehend a lot of it. But I did catch it. I
truly recommend, sir. When you have the time, relax, get some pizza, and enjoy.
Okay.
I think it will be interesting. And with your permission, of course, Mr. Hake, I would like to call your program and talk to you about it.
I can talk a couple of things about it, a couple of impressions that I got.
Right. But I called for something else.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't
Okay.
Mess up.
Foreign
Mr.
minister.
Hake.
No problem.
I was, as I said, I was watching your program, remarkable as always, and I wanted to highlight a few things that you touched upon. When I was around those children's age, I was, I think, between 9 and 12. We didn't have that kind of a mess here, but we had a different kind of mess. There was a tremendous drug problem in Southern Europe, like very serious drug problem. I'm 34 years old, and as of today that I know of, I have at least 12 dead classmates.
Wow.
That have died because of overdose, because of drunk driving, and substance abuse. You are remarkably right about that. When I was young, I did a number of foolish things, as every young person. We all go through that.
Yeah.
But my father was over there, and it makes a lot of difference, and I'll tell you why. He never showed it, but he always cared. He kind of watched movies that I have watched. He listened to songs that I was listening, so he was able to talk to me in my own language. That's very, very impressive, very important. And I was blessed to have that kind of a parent in the home.
Yeah.
Clearly, those children don't have that. And the father figure is tremendously underrated. And you couldn't have been more right, sir. A father in the home is very needed. And he wasn't really the best father, but I wasn't the best son either. So I think we grew up together in that manner.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
So I truly, agree with you, and just stay close to the father. It may not always be pleasant, but most of the time it's the right thing.
Yeah, it really is. JLP answered it might have been a biblical question from a super chat. Somebody asked whether a child should go with a born-again single mother who's been born again, or a single father who's in the fallen state, and he said the father. And I think
Mr. Hake, I had in a dilemma last year when I was supposed to vote for either a woman or a communist.
Oh, interesting.
Or a mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, I don't know.
I didn't.
What did you do?
Yeah, I didn't. I stayed at home.
Okay.
It's pointless. I'm not. And again, when it comes to parents and stuff like that,
right?
Only the child knows, because again, Mr. Hake, I was involved in a bad crowd, but I never did anything wrong, because how Mr. Peterson says that we have a teacher within?
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, Mr. Hake, that I used to listen to that inner thing way more when I was a kid. When I got older, I stopped listening for some reason. But when I was a kid, I used to listen a lot.
To that inner knowing.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It's good to be able to do.
And it is. And now I'm listening again. But, back then I used to listen a lot more. The world, I guess, either wasn't so dynamic, or maybe I simply had less to do. But things are like that. And with that said, Mr. Hake, you are absolutely right, 100% right. The father is an important figure. Sadly, not everybody has it. And Mr. Hake, I would like to wish you all the best, kind regards to your colleagues and your audience. When you happen to have the time, I truly recommend that interview. It was very interesting. And I wish you well, sir.
Thank you, Denny in Bulgaria. Appreciate you, man.
Likewise.
All right,
Mr. Hake.
Take care. Over on Streamlabs, there was these super chats from Lin Yan Chin. I was remiss in my duty to read the Streamlabs super chats, who said a few things. Shout out to Lin Yan Chin. Words exist to bring your attention to a point. Misuse of suffix and adjectives leads attention away from living sense into hype/drama. Yeah, that makes sense. Mama words are a cheap thrill. Yeah, to stimulate passion or so-called passions. A woman, vague plus thrill-seeking word. Passions. Yeah, it's true. Like, treat us like humans. We are humans. That's woman talk, you trans kids. And you've been fed that stuff. That's not you speaking from the heart. That's not you speaking from the guide within. Like Denny had mentioned. Lin Yan-Chin says, diffusion is of mama, as tension is what she needs to break. Break the tension. She is made tense in fright of the clear and specific, evading at all cost. Hence the tangent-riding slew of adjectives she throws out in fright. Mama can't communicate. She decorates. Mess, says Lin Yan-Chin. The point of each word is a state of stillness, says Lin Yan-Chin with a third super chat. Only in stillness is understanding grasped. Probably shouldn't grab the mic there. In hype, use of words become a mess. Mama, insecurity, wants you in hype. It makes you feel intelligent, to be amped up and alive when you're just being stupid. Indeed. Is that constructive criticism, Lin Yan-Chin? Thank you, man. Fun stuff. A supportive guy. And shout out to the Rumble crew and the D-Live crew. Aries 1 gave a diamond. No message. Oh, there's a couple of super chats here, right? Are these the ones that I had already read? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. 555555565 Misty. What's up, Beta Legs? And the rest of y'all. Did you see Misty's criticism of YouTubers, you YouTube people? Look, Mike Johnson, having to deal with all these women, doing these women words, and he's just having to buck up, man, be a man. Be a man. But no, he's a nice Christian. But we'll see. He might do okay. Look at these transgenders shout out in the Capitol. Cover up, man, or whatever you are, person. What a mess. Look at this. This caught my attention. Gender-affirming care is a multidisciplinary approach that includes medically necessary. Medically necessary. You're insisting it's necessary. I doubt it. And scientific, evidence-based practices. There's that buzzword, evidence-based practices to help a person safely transition from his, usually, sometimes her, assigned gender, the real actual physical gender. The one a clinician assigned them at birth, based mostly on anatomic characteristics, to their affirmed gender. And actually, that happened to that no, that's not a transgender, that Albanian who was actually turned out a man just with some messed up physiology down there. So, but that was Albania. Albanians, some of the doctors are just kind of sloppy or work too quickly or don't pay attention closely enough. So thought it was a girl, but it was actually a boy. Anyway, the gender by which the person wants to be known, depending on a person's age, such care is evil, usually, nowadays. maybe always, can include so-called mental health and support groups, legal help, and sometimes medical help like hormones or surgery when a person is past puberty. Some critics of the process suggest children should wait until adulthood to transition. Some critics like Hake say they shouldn't at all. Don't feed that devil in your mind. Don't feed it. I don't encourage it. But the American Academy of Pediatrics say its guidelines say the approach is outdated, in part because it assumes that gender identity becomes fixed at a certain age. Gender identity? And that approach is based on binary notions of gender in which gender diversity and fluidity is pathologized, meaning you're pathologically messed up, right? Mentally messed up. And so there's the American Academy of Pediatrics. Pediatrics being, pediatrics means the medical industry for children. Supposedly for children, really for themselves. But they take care of children. Kind of like the way the mob take care of them. You see that guy, take care of him. Oh, we'll take care of him, all right. For yourself. What a mess. Pretty evil. What are you guys talking about? Hake is hopeless. Don't talk about physiology. Anyway, that's probably plenty on the fake concern issue. Shout out to the transgenders. Again, I like you guys. Some of them are a bit harsh to deal with. And if I'm being a man, then I can deal with you. What in the world? This is taking forever. I'm just refreshing for the coffees. In the meantime, let me get to George in Massachusetts, who is on the line here. George, I'm glad you called back. What's up, man? I wasn't able to talk to you fully.
Hake.
That last time. Hey.
Oh, yeah, it was a good thing. No big deal. Well, we were talking about the reasonable person thing. Today,
Yeah.
I wanted to call and let you know that the Pope is opening 5 portals beginning Christmas Eve and continuing at some interval until mid-January.
Did you hear about that on JLP?
No,
Oh.
I fell asleep.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, we covered
you reported on that?
Yeah, we covered it a little bit. So this is the first time that he's done it, I hear.
Yeah, and I know one of the first things is that he's opening a door in a prison. I guess this ceremony happens every quarter century, but
is it a real prison? Is it a prison to this day, or is it an ancient prison in which Peter or somebody was imprisoned?
It's a current operating prison in Rome.
And is it where Peter was, or Paul or somebody? Did they have to stay in that prison? Why this prison?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Hake.
Because Rome is pretty ancient, right? So I would think that it might have some old buildings.
I don't know. I'm not that deep into it.
Okay.
But it's supposed to give prisoners around the world hope. And
okay. But aren't we? Didn't Jesus come to give the prisoners around the world hope? Why is the Pope doing it for opening the door?
I heard Jesus was the only portal to redemption or freedom or whatever.
Good point.
So I don't know what these portals are supposed to have to do with a bunch of Jesusness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured you would know more about the contradiction between Jesus as the portal to salvation or whatever, and these I don't know. We could say pagan portals. I don't know.
I'm not really that familiar with this Catholic stuff.
Me neither. Oh, there was one other story. There was a 4-star general, and he was a darker-skinned man, and he just got fired for promoting somebody who didn't even pass the test, and he was promoting them, so he got fired. And I figured JLP would love that story for his narrative.
Okay. It's interesting you use the word narrative for what JLP talks about. But it's like a 4-star black general was fired for promoting a guy who didn't pass. Was the guy whom he promoted?
It was a female, Hake.
Oh, the gal whom he promoted? Was she black, or was she white, or was she Latina or Asian?
The story didn't reveal that.
Okay. Promoting a gal. Oh, wait. Was the 4-star general a man, or was the 4-star general a woman? Don't tell me it was a woman.
The 4-star general was a man.
Okay. Promoted some gal who didn't pass a test. Sounds pretty typical. That's what we did. Not me, but that's what the Senate did for that guy who's the defense secretary currently, Lloyd Austin, black defense secretary. He wasn't supposed to be in there. He wasn't supposed to be allowed to be defense secretary because he wasn't 7 years out of the military yet. So he wasn't qualified. But they approved him anyway because he's black and liberal, I say. What a mess.
Yeah. Some people just say they're controlled. They're just controlled people. Yeah. They're willing to be controlled for exchange of, money, things like that.
I mean, anybody who wants to be in those positions has to be willing to be controlled on some level. You have to play the phony game. But it's but the shame on the Senate for approving him, because those are Republicans in the Senate who voted to approve him, not just Democrats.
Well, there was another thing, Hake. We were talking about Trump was declared the Messiah by 134 rabbis, that he was declared the Prince of Peace, and recently he was given some metal instrument which is only given to the Messiah, and he had the Ark of the Covenant at his house in Florida. And you sounded interested in talking more about this on your outro.
I mean, yeah, that's what you were on hold for. I'm like, what? So Jewish rabbis declared him Moshe, Moses, the Messiah. Moshiach is here. Nice.
He's also the king of Jerusalem, I think they've declared him.
Right on.
For moving the capital there.
Yeah. He's Jesus' brother. I like it.
Oh, they're building a statue to him, also throwing up that communist fist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It wasn't a communist fist. It was a fight, American Christian white man fist. You think it was communist?
Yeah.
Or are you joking around with that? I call it communist fist a lot. But in his case, we cut him slack.
2025 is the year of the snake. We'll see.
Is that Chinese, on the Chinese calendar?
It is, yeah.
So that starts in like February or so.
I don't know.
I think it does.
Probably.
Yeah, somewhere. Interesting, man.
Right, well, good chatting with you, Hake.
Yeah, thank you for the tips. Appreciate you, George in Massachusetts. Take care, man.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Right, bye. Oops. And Ronnie in Ohio is on the line over here. Ronnie, are you there?
My guy, Hake, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
All is well. No complaints.
Cool.
I wanted to call and thank you. Last week, it may have been Thursday, William from California, he called and said that I called Ronald Reagan the worst president ever, and I never said anything like that. So
yeah.
I wanted to thank you for correcting the record on that.
Of course, man. I like to get it right.
I appreciate it.
Do you rate him as a great president or a good president, Reagan?
I would say polarizing, if I had to put a word on it. I know many people that love him, and I know many people that despise him.
Yeah.
And he was president before I was born, so I can't really speak too much to the record, and I haven't studied his record as much as I have earlier presidents.
Oh,
but
okay.
But to win 2 elections and then to have his vice president win an election, it says something about him. And then I think either his 1980 or his 84 victory was like every single state except one of them. So he clearly had the backing of the people that were voting at the time he was president.
Yeah, whether that's a good thing or not. And I think that people persons tend to do better. Trump is a people person. Obama, somewhat of a people person. I think that a lot of people would call him that. Bill Clinton, much more, I think, of a people person even than Obama. Bill Clinton, I've heard, was a people person. And Ronald Reagan was a... so you're not... Are you named after Ronald Reagan, Ronnie?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Highly, highly doubt it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Interesting. But you think that Obama was one of the best that we've had. Is that right?
Yes,
at least in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I rank him at the top. If I had to choose any 2 just at random, I would say Obama and James Polk. Just for like promises made, promises kept, and then the way that what they walked into, when the shape that the White House was in when they walked into it, as opposed to how it looked when they left. I think it's hard to find a resume that's better than those 2.
What did James? We've argued a lot about Obama, so I'm just going to let that slide at the moment. But what did James Polk walk into? What was his era?
John Tyler was like not liked by obviously not by the opposition party, and then he was the president before Polk was.
Okay.
And they chose him. I can't remember if it was Republicans or Democrats, but they chose him, and then when he was up for re-election, they moved on away from him. James Polk kind of came out of nowhere, but he's what annexed Texas. He gave us the Mexican-American War. But that whole Manifest Destiny thing, where it was expanding the borders as much as we could to give us states like Texas and California and Oregon and Nevada and Washington.
Okay.
That's all thanks to James Polk. Yep. And then the big victory in the Mexican-American War. It was a lot of people that didn't want to go to war, but he took us there. We had a lot of success. And then, like I said, the size of the country, the way Jefferson brought in the Louisiana Territory, Polk kind of doubled down on that and brought us Texas and all those other places.
And so Polk is pre so-called Civil War then, right?
Yes.
Mexican-American War was some of the Confederate heroes, I call them, fought in the Mexican-American War, and then they became Southern Confederate generals. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, this was the 1840s, I think.
Oh, wow. So like 15 years later or 25 years later or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, he did that. And then one thing I really, really liked about him was when he campaigned, he said he was only going to serve one term. He had a really successful first term, and then he did not run a second term like he promised. So
wow.
So his resume to me is impeccable. Obviously, you'll find people that dislike him, but it's hard to find somebody that doesn't dislike some president.
What's their criticisms of Polk?
Manifest
Destiny.
war.
The haters of Manifest. Okay, yeah, taking us to war.
There you go. Yeah. The people that don't like Manifest Destiny and they think that the government still kind of took what he did and ran with it. And if they did, that's not his fault.
When was the Trail of Tears? Was that having to do with anything related to the war or any of those times? When was Trail of Tears?
That was Andrew Jackson. He was, I think, 3 presidents before Polk.
Okay.
I think. Let me see. Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler. Okay, 4 presidents was between them. But that was all Andrew Jackson stuff, and that's why a lot of people don't like him. Now, he was a people person. They had like the crazy mob kind of infiltrating the White House before he got elected, and then the same thing happened afterwards. And he picked a lot of people that were his friends to be on his cabinet. So Andrew Jackson gets a lot of love and a lot of hate.
Right.
Yeah, and Polk may have been involved in the Trail of Tears, but he wasn't like he wasn't president at that time, and he didn't come to the forefront on the political scene until many, many years later.
Are you familiar with Sam Houston?
Sam Houston, somewhat. I do remember reading about him.
Because I forget whether it was Men's History Month or White History Month, I helped put together a little segment on Sam Houston, and I think he was trying to prevent Trail of Tears from being so bad, because he was friendly. He went out and learned Indian. He learned like Apache or some type of language. He became like, Black Crow was his name or his Indian name. But he was, I feel like he was involved in a lot of that stuff in Texas and helped make Texas a state and all that stuff. Sam Houston.
Yep.
Seemingly a great guy.
I think that's who Houston, Texas is named after.
Right.
And then it may have been, I can't remember it was a guy whose last name was Dallas. I know he was from Pennsylvania, and he ran, I don't know if he was with Polk or Buchanan. He was with one of those presidents before the Civil War as the vice president, and then they ended up naming Dallas after him. So, yeah, the westward expansion of the United States, it's a fun part of history to kind of revisit and learn about.
Do you agree with Joe from Phoenix? I forget where you stand on whether you would call it a genocide of the American Indians.
I would say yes, based on the definition. If somebody wants to argue the definition is worded incorrectly, that would be up to them. But there was definitely no care or no love for the Native Americans that were removed.
Except for like individuals, because Sam Houston was an individual who wanted to look out keep it fair for the Indians. So there was some love, but some people didn't have love, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It was. That's one of the more divisive topics. Like I think it was called the Indian Removal Act. That might have even been the name of the law.
Yeah.
You had people on both sides of that.
That's interesting, man. So you sound like you didn't really want to call it you don't really want to jump on board with calling it a genocide, but you would because of the definition of the word?
Yeah, I wouldn't really get into the semantics argument on whether or not we were going to put that label on it.
Yeah.
I would say what they did was wrong, 1,000%. So whatever label we put on it, if we're just going to debate whether it's right or wrong, how they treated the Native Americans, I'm definitely on the side of saying that it was wrong.
So there was right and wrong things done. Expansion itself wasn't necessarily wrong. Some of the specifics of what they did with the Indians was wrong.
Absolutely. Yep. Just removing them and getting them out of there was a shame. They tried to just pretty much push them out west, and a lot of people died on their way out there and didn't make it. And some of them tried to stay. I know, like the Seminole tribe, I think they kind of held their ground down in Florida, and a couple other native tribes, but they were no match for the, I guess, the colonizers, as some people put it.
I think of it in more neutral terms, and you know me, I'm kind of pro-white, pro-America. I scoff, I recoil at what I deem to be communist language when they call it, we were built on slavery and genocide and stuff like that. But I see it kind of like how Israel is doing right now. Israel and God and, the Palestinians or whatever, whoever's in charge in Palestine right now, Hamas, they're having a battle and a war, and the Palestinians are seemingly like a dysfunctional and problem people. And I can't really fault Israel for like clearing the area. And clearing the area, there's a word for that. They call it ethnic cleansing, when you force them to like migrate down. Not necessarily just kill them all, because I wouldn't be for that. But forcing them to move out. I'm not against that, but people call it ethnic cleansing. But if you remove the emotion, because it's an emotional drama word, genocide, ethnic cleansing. If you remove the emotion of it, it's not necessarily a wrong thing to do. I say.
Ooh.
Do you agree with
tough. I mean, you're entitled to that take. I say it's tough just because
right.
There have been wars over. there have been wars fought over that land since the Old Testament.
I know.
Yep. So for Israel, who wasn't a country until I think 1948, for them to just be like, this is our land, Germany's going to keep paying us reparations, and we get to decide who lives here and who doesn't live here. I think that's kind of that's how the King George that the colonists were fighting against. I think it's a similar thing, to just look at a group of humans and say, no, you're lesser than, and we tell you what to do. I know that wasn't God's intent when he created us.
Right, but to say like you are a problem people and we got to move you on out of here because you can't get along with us, and so we're going to move you out. And I don't care if they just moved in there yesterday. If that's a moot point in my opinion. Like might makes right in these battles. It's not like there's no innocent victim. There might be like some people who are more innocent, but on the whole, the leadership stinks in Palestine, I gather.
Yeah, and many will argue that they're not being ruled by their own.
Right.
Like I don't think
they don't really
Hamas, I think came from Iran.
Yeah.
So they're not even like Palestinian people. So even though they're quote unquote in control of the country, they don't represent the people that live there and the people that have been being slaughtered since October of last year.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah.
I
just want people to stop dying. If you ask me where I stand, it's literally just in the fact that people keep dying, and I'm tired of seeing it.
Yeah. So you agree with Trump then? You just want people to stop dying. I agree on that for sure.
Yep, 100%.
Well, thanks for the call. It's good talking with you, man. I didn't know you knew so much about history. You've said it, but I just didn't realize. I just didn't believe you. Or I didn't really think about it. Take care, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, bye. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. It's time for some Christmas music. Let's do Infant Holy, Infant Lowly. Phil Hahn and Steve Johnson is so fun. Phil Hahn and Steve Johnson. Very nice. Take care, guys. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye.